The community of Dalaba is blessed with a climate-resilient, sustainable agriculture demonstration farm, courtesy of Action Aid the Gambia.
Is the executive director of Action Aid International, the Gambia, Mr. Umar Baji.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in Ihdina siratal mustaqim siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Mesi ngani ya kilinke ngana ngani ya fulake ngabe ngani ya kilinke alisimo mol makoy. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. Rabbana la tuzigh qulubana ba'da idh hadaytana wa hab lana min ladunka rahmatan innaka antal wahhab. Rabbana jallamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim fil alamin innaka hamidum majid. Wa barik ala Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim fil alamin innaka hamidum majid. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammadin al-Fatih lima ukhli wal khatim wa nasir al-bil wal hadi ila siratikal mustaqim wa ala alihi adamik azim. Inna Allaha wal malaikata yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuhallazina amanu sallu alaihi wa sallimu taslima. Hasbunallahu ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallahu ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallahu ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifuna wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Momo niya to ye imbaji anemba be konton na konton dir follow bita luntan yalo min yalo wultane le dula jamol to inata futa mbe be konton ne tolla kabona jawara anin kabona banyun men wultana inata jam anin kabona action aid la official to alkalol min fanan be mabe ta jam be konton na anin folo mbediam la min walam mbediam la sefu fulale tola jam bari wolle be dendi nyim banko la jam nyim be sirin dame be sirin mi famen kunna jam sefu sabale be dendi ngala bi ala ke abe lori intella area la banko kanjam baro wayati nambe diamula pour ka wol be konton e tolu ni konton walla men be light so ko ani agriculture ani epexol men ya lon ko be banko fanan kanjam ni epex sabo be konton na ila na kana ma be jam action aid la director mba konton na agriculture la permanent secretary ani la director general be konton na action atondi mbe area council fanana ke bañin konton na membe siri le chairman membe siri jang banko kanjam alkalol men be ma be de jambe be konton mbe konton do labanna na governor Obama wala mbiyayti mba konton na atona konton la mba fla banko molbe ali bismillah men botan nan dula ko tawol to inata ma be nyimitu to be konton momo wultana jang e wultane tola yeto moy meto fo fanay salon ko mbele ni yobi jang adu mbele be kanyen ni jam mo man siya moti fenna jang men si jang doron wolem la moy roti alfa min be maberi jang alfa balle mo yinuti mbela fla nga la moy ro ka nyama adun kumo mbela fla kibaro kana tun tol bulu jang bari molle wulitana jang inata ngani ya senu wala kanyam pour ka futandi ma jang oto ibe minno fola alinga kata ngawla moy kat wala kumayata beti ite wulla yeje la bungo kono nyama doku wato mbe wala to say molbe be tayrol lela ni katrol tiasol ni ku kadamol bebe keri yela o bebula je to yela mani katol bebula je yesute mol kono ko ina ma be banko e jam ila ma be o ja kumayata janne medoya ngay kumayandi bakele oto kumaya kan ngaje ko mbe lafla ni ne tara ma be rin janni nyin kamala modol men yalo man jan sotono me be kumandino ina ma be jang hajol la kuwa kama mbal be tentula mbal jayla mba falale ko al bismillah kansulol men fanan be bi jang ke kansulol ni muso kansulol mba falale al bismillah al kalol men fanan be nyim banko kanjani banko kadangolu kan mba falale be al bismillah bari jang mba falale ko karandulale mu jandi aliyalon almalon karandulale mu jandi jannim be monela alingal la moy kendeke ibe men fola nyi jang men kuma men nyun men be wultana nje na tama be nyi mitu to jang e kuma ya ta bakele haji jamal be ko ma yemen tu nanje ntolla ko kan wala wulindi nan pure na futa may nasi puru ye na membe ko na yeyite yela ngani yol be itandi ye moto jawol e motolu jonan sangara kenan ne na tay jambayndi nan somanda dol man da sama ka men bodo nan banyun ni ko e talanta mitu jang wota da samala e ntolle la ko ye wisi jang oto kuma ya tabake nga ntolmeni yentara ko men kanjan lafsaji la ko ngaw muta anyama bari molbi jammin ya lon ko ibotanan badibu kotola inata ma be jam badibu do ku façon beje action e dia lon ne be men tamande kanje kiliya ya tinne we lafri façon e ke jam o tenno la damantam ma ke wakiloti ani lamoyro ani be yamarol men dilana ngaw yamarol muta ngal dani dukare mbeke kilimuti ngake bakilim fa kilimuti ngakay lamor la kendati min yalon ko be kuma kawul men falani jani be yamarol men dilana so yamarol muta aliya baraka bake dukare mbele fla wala moyro ala baraka thank you.
The different individual personalities that are present here, ranging from the EC rep, the director, executive director of Agro-ecology and Gambia, all other staff, the governor, and everybody else that is here. Of course, the chief challenge the participants that yes, this is a training center. They should understand that this is a training center, and there is the need to properly take advantage of the opportunity provided. He challenged everybody else to ensure that at the end of the day, it's a success, and a huge success for that matter.
Action Aid Director of Programs and Policy, Fanta Jata Sow, delved on the significance of the center in ameliorating the drudgery of climate change on agriculture.
All of you, members of the representatives passing of Darrell Saxton, Mr. Mbaika, the permanent secretary from the Mumbai Jabang, the permanent secretary from the Ministry of Agriculture, the Director General from Agriculture, the NEMA Project Director, the Chairman, Janjambura Area Council, representative of the Governor, Mr. Mama Mane from NATC, the representative from NACO, the Regional Director from Livestock and Agriculture, representatives from the media houses, especially the GRTS, Korea, Points newspaper and Standard. We thank you for coming because you are going to reach where we'll never reach. The Alcalo and Imam of Dalaba village staff. We are here today to inaugurate a demonstration farm. This has come about through a project that we have won through the support of the EU, and it is amounting to 824,615 euros from the EU. And I always want community members to take note when we talk about project values, because we at ActionAid believe in transparency. We believe in empowering communities, and we believe in communities challenging us. Therefore, we always announce the sources of our income, and we want communities to ask questions as to how these funds are used. This is not the first time, and it's not the second time. It's not going to be the last time. Because we at ActionAid empower communities to also go back to their electorates and to the government to ask questions as to how their tax monies are being used. We expect the same thing to be done on us. And we always say to community members that it's not because we are good people that we are bringing these projects to you, because it is our responsibility that these projects are coming. And it is because it is their right for development to come to them. And that is why development is coming. It's not because we are giving them charity. So this project has come to them as a right to them, and through ActionAid, we are delivering this project. It is mainly to strengthen the resilience of communities to withstand the shocks of climate change variabilities. We know climate change is real. And therefore, if we want to continue living on this earth, we have to coexist with the environment. And everybody at any level, up to the community level, have to understand that the environment, we have to coexist with the environment. And our behavior and attitude contributes a lot to negatively changing or positively impacting on the environment. Therefore, this project has come to help us understand those environmental changes and how we are going to prepare ourselves to live within, because it is a reality. Therefore, the most important thing is for us to understand and see how best we can live within the environment and further protect it from further destructions, so that generations to come will be able to live on this earth. We therefore thank the EU for the support coming from the EU, and we assure the EU as well as the communities that we will do our best to make sure that the funds are judiciously used as enshrined in the project document. And we will not relent in building the capacity of communities to challenge us as responsible citizens to make sure that we deliver as promised. I'm not going to take much of your time, but to thank you very much and to also challenge you to make sure that this demo farm is used for farmers to learn the skills and go back to our farms and our family units, whatever land we have, to make sure that it is used in the best way we can, so that we are food self-sufficient, we are nutritious, we are healthy, and also we are able to get jobs from what we do to mitigate migration, hunger, and malnutrition. I want to thank you all very much for your attention. Thank you.
The PS by Jabang, my own brother, the governor of the region, Representative Mr. B.I., the Alikalo and the Imam and the elders of Dalaba village, Director General of Agriculture, Dr. Sheikh Sanya, Director of NEMA Project, Mr. Mohamed Gassama, Chief Executive of ActionAid the Gambia, Mr. Omar Baji, the Head of Programs and Policies, Fanta Baji, EU Delegation, Representative Mr. Derals and other members from the delegation, all LRP staff, the Master of Ceremony and all other protocols respectively observed with due respect to the Chairman of the Jajambre Area Council, my own brother, Mr. Sane. Thank you very much for your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to sincerely ask your permission to deliberate on the negative consequences of climate change and its effect on the livelihoods of the beneficiary communities that this particular Agro-ecology and Eco-restoration Project intends to alleviate by instituting this demonstration farm we are about to witness the official opening ceremony today, and which will serve as an evidence-based result. We hope and expect that skills that are going to be learned here will support our communities to build their resilience against climate change. Climate change on food security and nutrition. Among the most significant impact of climate change is the potential increase of food insecurity and undernutrition. The aim of this premiere is to summarize the current state of knowledge on the impacts of climate change on food security and nutrition. Climate change exacerbates the risk of hunger and malnutrition through the following mechanisms: extreme weather events under climate change, the frequency and intensity of some disasters such as droughts, floods, and storms could increase with an adverse impact on livelihoods and food security. Climate change-related disasters have the potential to destroy crops, critical infrastructures, and key community assets, therefore deteriorating livelihoods and exacerbating poverty. These are all key thematic areas that necessitate both NATC and ActionAid to come together to put up this particular project to ensure that what is expected for the communities is attained. A long-term and gradual climate risk was observed since 2011, thus spiraling on a yearly basis with variable magnitudes in adversity. In addition, climate change could affect all dimensions of food security and nutrition in complex ways, food production changes in climatic conditions have already affected the production of some staple foods, and future climate change threatens to exacerbate this. High temperatures will have an impact on yields and humans, especially children and the old age, while changes in rainfall could affect both crops quality and quantity. Access to food, climate change could increase the prices of major crops in some regions, particularly where we are, because our livelihood depends on farming. So if we have a negative or poor rainfall, it means our food basket will be disturbed, and our small income, we cannot meet our demands. For the most vulnerable people, low agricultural output would also mean low income. Under these conditions, the poorest people, who already use most of their income on food, would have to sacrifice additional income to meet their nutritional requirements. Food utilization and climate-related risk affects calorie intake, particularly in areas where chronic food insecurity is already a significant problem. Changing climatic conditions would also create a vicious cycle of disease and hunger. Nutrition is also likely to be affected by climate change through related impacts on food security, dietary diversity, care practices, and health. If you will allow me, ladies and gentlemen, this demonstration farm established in Dalaba village and in Lower Badibu and Opanyomi in North Bank regions will enable farmers within the LRPs and beyond to scale up the adaptive capabilities of women and youth on sustainable agriculture and climate change by demonstrating and sharing knowledge in community-based agro and resilience practices such as climate resilience, sustainable agriculture, and eco-restoration. I therefore wish to advise beneficiary communities, especially the people of Dalaba village, to be responsible of the farm and own and other valuable assets within and explore the opportunities to address their poverty and food insecurity situation by adopting sharing skills and knowledge on best production practices. On that note, therefore, I wish to thank all of you for your patience and attention. Thank you very much.
Mama depa waxtaan ci changement jaww ji. mel ni changement jaww ji lu am la loo xam ne dañu war a jóg pour ci ñun doomi aadama yi ak yeneen mbaate taw bu bari loolu yëpp gis nañ ko te loolu yëpp dafa nekk loo xam ne si changement jaww ji bi bariwul lool ci tool ya dafay yokk maanaam am nañ façon bu mel ni njawara am nañ bu façon bu mel ni opañoo mi mooy saare birom waaye dina am solo pour yéen ngeen jàppa ko maanaam yokkute fii dem kanam fii mu ngi si loxo waa Dalaba yi.
Assalamu alaikum asul irna be sebele assalamu alaikum fantage la ka be sebele la fantage la assalamu alaikum ganya na na ka be sebele na yo assalamu alaikum sebele la be sebele la sebele la yo ci yéen ñu waxtaanee li nga xam ne mooy weti jaww ji weti jaww ji nag ñun baadoole la gën a sonal ñi nga xam ne bay lañ dundee jàngale kuy jàng jëriñoo boo ñibbee am sa njaaraama tàccu leen waay ndeysaan ñu ne ñu waxtaane li nga xam ne mooy engrais bi ma ne ko ndeysaan bu ñu mënta bàyyi engrais itam nañ wàcc engrais ñu dem ci li nga xam ne moom mooy cosaan bi di compost boo seetaanee engrais bi bokk na ci li nga xam ne moo néewloo suñu suuf si doole. ak suñ nag yi nga xam ne tam dañuy dem seen tàngoor bi bokk na ci li nga xam ne moo wecci suuf si doole. jàngaleen kuy jàng jëriñoo boo ñibbee am sa njaaraamaay. ginnaaw bu jógee si loolu ñu ñëw si li nga xam ne mooy daane garab yi. ndax daane garab yi tam bokk na si li nga xam ne moo néewloo suñu suuf si doole ndax garab yu mag yi baax nañ si suñu suuf si. ñu ne ñu góorgóorlu di jëmbat garab yi. gannaaw buñ jógee ci loolu ñu ñëw ci li nga xam ne mooy yaatal suñ mbay mi. ñu ne yaatal mbay bi nag mooy nga bay gerte dugub maalo mboq ñebe.
ay ngare boɗa hofta e simin ko tumde gerte min koppide gerte min suɓano ndawen faatu an ko ngawoyta ya woy ndawen adi o jam mi waɗa carte mi waɗa men tout kon keɗe ɗin ko kalanmi gadinaji ɗi jontum joni duuɓi ɗi mballim simi hoftumde gerte sira awa mo poño kumba awa mo ndawe sira awa mo kappe waɗi o jabbimi renkidir ma han laabino tuuba kade koni mboɗo humta andami min duppata joowe waddi min duppata joowe waɗi kulloñ koñ ko gulde kon juuri kon waɗi kulloñ koñ ko leydi koñ guuri simi duppumde gerte ɗingullon koñ mayat ey goram mboɗo yam kon gaccanami jakatuje waɗi o demi waɗa jakatuje e waɗi o tam mbimi waɗamo gadin nden mi waɗa kappe mi waɗa men tout e bari nden mi waɗa kanja mi waɗa foññe kon keɗe min ko kalanmi waɗi attol en addimo jamɗo
a jarama
musidɗankoɓe on jarama ñaɓiranaɓe on jarama mi salmini on mi salmini actionnaire support konen ko walloɓe remoɓe
In the same vein, Action Aid Executive Director Omar Baji and its EU-funded Promoting Agro-ecology and Eco-restoration Practices Project Manager Fode Diba said the center is important in the enhancement of climate-smart agriculture.
For being invited to be part of this occasion of launching of the demonstration farm in Dalaba. In Action Aid, we develop what we call a country strategy paper every 5 years. And the current strategy paper that we are implementing has 4 or 3 key priority areas. We call them program ambition. The first one is about creating rights awareness. Awareness of people's rights, so that people know what their rights are and how they can claim those rights and enjoy those rights. The second ambition is about resource mobilization and redistribution. And that is done because of the inequality that exists. We know we have resources, but resources are controlled by a few people. And we want for there to be this distribution of those resources so that at least there is equitability across the country. So we want for there to be transparency and accountability in terms of how we mobilize those resources and how we distribute them to beneficiaries. The third program area or program ambition has to do with resilience building. We work with farmers, smallholder farmers mainly. And as previous speakers have said, because of climate change, we know that their lives and livelihoods are impacted in a very negative way. And because of that, we designed a program around building their resilience so that they are able to live within the changing environment. As Fanta has said, climate change is a reality, and it has a very negative impact on the lives and livelihoods of people. Because of the poor and unreliable rainfall pattern and the droughts that we do experience because of climate change, the floods and strong windstorms, productivity and income levels of people are really very low. And this really has led to a very serious issue that we are facing now, because it has made life in the rural area very difficult indeed. And because of that, many people have left the rural areas, moved to the urban centers, and some have used that as a springboard to go outside the country. Most of them want to reach Europe. So migration is within the country internally, but is also external through what we call the back way. So we are losing most of our youth, men and women, but mostly men. Some travel, they don't even reach their destination. Some die on the way, in the desert, some die in the Mediterranean Sea. And we don't want that, to happen. It is estimated that over 300,000 people have migrated within the Gambia and outside. And that's about 17% of the population. So the rural area is actually being drained of active labor force. That is one reason why really we need to manage migration very responsibly. Because otherwise there will come a time when in these areas here, if you have a project, there will be nobody to implement the project. Because the strong and able-bodied people would have left the rural areas. They'll be either in the urban centers or they are struggling, trying to go outside the country in search of greener pastures. In a country where about 70% of the population earn their livelihoods from agriculture and agricultural related activities, migration is a real issue that we have to start thinking seriously about and be able to design programs and come up with ideas on how we can deal with this situation. It is therefore urgent that we address this issue on a sustainable basis. Resilience building and adoption of good farming practices, skills development, and knowledge and skills development are some of the things that really we need to embark on. And this is where this demonstration farm that we are building, that we are inaugurating today, become very, very useful indeed. This demonstration farm is a site for capacity building. It's a site for training. It will be used to show practices, good practices in agricultural activities. For adoption, it is a site for extension support, because it is estimated that the extension worker to farmer ratio is about 1 to 2,500 people. That is, one extension person is responsible of 2,500 farmers. Really, that gap is huge and it needs to be addressed. So this farm here can really help to address that situation in a very big way. But this farm is also a site where we can really develop a relationship with agriculture department. We approach them, discuss with them, so that their agents are able to come here. And when they are here, they're able to reach many people at a time. Because when people gather here, it really increases the reach for the agricultural people. This farm must be open to all, especially women and youth. We should not really close it. We should really make sure that it is accessible to all those people who need it, particularly women and youth. My appeal to you is really for us to take good care of this farm, because it is here to benefit us. It must be used, as I said, to strengthen our relationship with the Ministry of Agriculture, and it must be able to contribute to job creation in this region here, as well as food security. We should be able to use it in a way that is able to improve the food security of our region. It must be able to contribute to a reduction in migration, because if it is able to improve food security, it is able to create jobs. We are hopeful that most of the youth will actually remain around so that they are engaged and be able to improve their lives at home instead of moving about. It should be able to improve incomes. I think previous speakers have said it, that climate change really leads or results in low incomes. But if you are able to use this responsibly, it should be able to increase the incomes of people. It should be a place where knowledge and trust in farming is built. Because of climate change, people have lost trust in agriculture. People have lost interest in agriculture. It's not because when you cultivate your land, you are not even sure of having harvest, because the rainfall is so erratic to an extent that people have lost interest in agriculture. But this farm should really be able to generate that interest and revive, people's interest in agriculture. We are hopeful that we are able to use this farm to actually realize that objective. This is therefore a very, very useful project. I think you will agree with me. And the sustainability of this project is therefore in your hands. It is up to you for this project to really serve the population around this area. And it's up to you to leave this project to die, and then it becomes a sheer waste of resources, because resources invested in this project here is really huge in terms of money, in terms of human resources. Even if you look at the number of people who have come here to witness the launching alone, it's huge. And I think the chief has said it here. These people, all of them have left a lot of activities, a lot of business home to come here. It's because of the importance of this project. So my appeal to you is really to make sure that you manage this project very well and really keep it so that it becomes of use to the population of this area. Having said this, I would like to really extend my thanks and appreciation to the EU for really providing the resources to fund this project. Because as I said, the resilience building is part of our strategy, but we will need resources to be able to implement, to be able to make it through. And EU has come forward to provide those resources to enable us really do this work. So I would like to thank the EU on my behalf and on behalf of everybody around for really providing these resources that we are using to implement the project.
It's an honour to be here in Dalaba at the inauguration of the Climate Resilience Sustainable Agriculture Demonstration Farm, which is funded under the ActionAid International, the Gambia, NGO component of the comprehensive European Union funded agriculture programme. Indeed, at the start of 2017, the EU took the decision to allocate 20.5 million euros from the 11th European Development Fund for the Gambia for a programme entitled Agriculture for Economic Growth and Food Security Nutrition to Mitigate Migration. This 1.2 billion Dalasi programme is self-contained and has three components as follows. Component 1, FAO Agriculture for Economic Growth. Component 2, WFP, School Meals and Disaster Risk Management. And Component 3, NGO support to the overall 11th EDF programme. The programme itself aims to create growth and employment opportunities, in particular for women and youth, through improved agricultural productivity as well as access to food, whilst at the same time increasing most vulnerable smallholders' participation in agricultural value chains. The programme also recognises that there is a need for enhanced agriculture and food security information systems, as well as crisis management and prevention to build resilience of rural communities. In so doing, the programme is expected to reduce migration flows, especially to the European Union. The programme is being carried out in North Bank region, Central River region, Lower River region and Upper River region. More specifically, contracts for Component 1, Agriculture for Economic Growth, and Component 2, School Meals and Disaster Risk Reduction, were signed with FAO and WFP respectively in 2017, and following a call for proposals, 4 NGO contracts were awarded and signed in 2018 with the express aim of running concurrently with the FAO and WFP interventions until the end of the programme as a whole, which is scheduled for mid-2021. Of the 4 NGOs brought on board, a 36-month contract was signed with ActionAid International, the Gambia, to run this action entitled Promoting Agro-ecology and Eco-restoration Practices in Southern, Central River and North Bank regions. The ActionAid contract is worth around about 820,000 euros, with 90% co-funded by the EU to the tune of 740,000 euros. Ladies and gentlemen, the ActionAid International, the Gambia contract is being implemented in 30 communities across Central River Region South and North Bank region in partnership with the Indrara Agricultural Training Centre, NATC. ActionAid activities are intended to directly support 1,860 women and youth, with up to 32,000 people benefiting indirectly from the support provided to the core target group. More specifically, ActionAid aims to scale up the adaptive capacities of women and youth in climate resilience and sustainable agriculture. And this will be done through demonstrating community-based agroecology and restoration practices at 3 demonstration farms in the 2 targeted regions. The CRSA farm being inaugurated here in Dalaba today is one of those 3 farms. By focusing on women and youth in particular, the intention is to provide viable alternatives to migration to urban areas and even to Europe through providing them with the necessary knowledge, skills and inputs to engage in sustainable agroecology farming practices for food security and gainful employment within the communities, as well as contribute to restoration of the local ecosystems. Ladies and gentlemen, the contract with ActionAid was awarded after a competitive call for proposals and represents the most innovative and creative of the many project proposals that were submitted to the European Union under Lot 1, known as Agroecology and Eco-restoration. It's estimated that more than 40% of the Earth's land surface is currently used for agriculture. Because so much land has been converted to agriculture, habitat loss is recognised as the driving force in biodiversity loss. As a result, it is now being increasingly recommended to promote agro-ecological farming practices. Indeed, according to FAO, biodiversity is just as important on farms and in fields as it is in deep river valleys or in mountain cloud forests. Here in the Gambia, the loss of biodiversity has also been accompanied by deforestation and a reduction in the quality of soil, which in turn has been made worse by the increasing number of climatic events, be it intense droughts or flash flooding. To give an example, the Gambia, according to a recent study by the IMF, was hit by 11 instances of droughts over the last 50 years, with 4 in just the 12 years prior to 2015. The National Climate Change Policy also mentions that from 1950 to 2000, annual rainfall amounts already declined by about 30%. In an effort to reverse some of the damage done to natural ecosystems and to combat the effects of climate change, the EU is becoming increasingly interested in promoting eco-restoration, a practice through which the natural environment is returned or restored to something close to its original habitat. This ensures not only resilience to further shocks, but also encourages preservation of biodiversity and ecosystems in support of sustainable agriculture. The call for proposals in the Gambia in 2017 was part of the EU's work towards improving Gambia's understanding of these issues. Indeed, there may be in the future a need to take a territorial approach to agriculture here, as the differing agro-ecosystems in the country could be restored to improve the quality and productivity of the agricultural produce on offer. It's also recognised that at present, agriculture is not attractive for youth. There are low prices for agricultural produce, a weakness of basic services in rural areas, and a lack of connectivity, to name but a few. The average age of farmers is going up as youth desert the land for the cities, especially the West Coast region. The adoption of eco-restoration and agro-ecological approaches could be essential to change these trends and make agriculture more attractive to the youth by fostering higher prices for organic produce, for production diversity, and lowering dependence on external inputs and making farming a lifestyle choice again. In this way, the contract being implemented by ActionAid is the opening of a new chapter in the story of the EU's involvement in support of agriculture in the Gambia. The role of the local authorities in the regions and of the ministries involved, be it in agriculture or environmental lands, in supporting new ways of thinking and making agriculture attractive again, may become important going forward. With these few words, I therefore wish and encourage participants success at the CRSA demonstration farm being inaugurated today. Thank you very much.
Okay, mooy daral maanaam moo toogal comme maanaam projet bi ci office bureau bi European Union am Banjul fii daral wax na ne buntu boo xam ne nit ñi mun a binda pour mun a am xaalis pour liggéey yu demee naka lañ mun a wàññi loraange yi nekkal ci kaw nit ñi.
It is an honor and privilege for me to make a statement as part of the inauguration of the Climate Resilient Sustainable Agriculture Demonstration Farm in Dalaba village today. The farm, we understand, is established by ActionAid International in the Gambia with funding from European Union, as you have heard already. The project, entitled Promoting Agro-ecology and Eco-restoration Practices in Southern, Central River and North Bank regions of the Gambia, is funded under envelope A of the EU, entitled Agriculture for Economic Growth and Food and Nutrition Security to Mitigate Migration Programs in the Gambia. Now, this project is well aligned with the prioritization of agriculture in the National Development Plan of the Gambia government, stretching from 2018 to 2021, which is exactly the project implementation period as well. And it's also well aligned with the Gambia National Agricultural Investment Plan, first generation, which stretched from 2011 to 2015, which both ActionAid and EU participated fully well in putting together. and by extension, the Regional Agricultural Investment Plan of the ECOWAS agricultural policy under ECOWAS, and also the AU Comprehensive African Agricultural Development Program, CADEP. And it might interest you to know that this is being transitioned right now as we're speaking into a second generation National Agricultural Investment Plan with emphasis on food and nutrition security, stretching from 2021 to 2016 to 2020 for ECOWAS, and for the Gambia from 2019 to 2026. The six thematic issues that are contained in this new investment program are namely combating hunger and malnutrition, adapting to climate change, strengthening resilience to food and nutrition insecurity, providing employment, especially through vocational training, and securing the status of producers, farm workers, and young people, systemic gender mainstreaming, as well as promotion of competitive and inclusive value chains. Again, this project is well aligned to the above cited thematic areas. I am made to understand that this farm is one of 3 demonstration farms established in the Gambia, the other 2 being Sarebrom in Upper Nyomi and Njawara in Lower Badibu, all by ActionAid and its partnership with the European Union. These demonstration farms will be used to promote the adoption of recommended agricultural practices and serve as skills and experience sharing centers to bring about an increase in knowledge for food production and productivity. We also hope that the innovations learned will help farmers to cope with the impact of climate change and its related challenges. Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, agriculture, as we all know, is a driving force of the Gambian economy, contributing nothing less than 34% to our GDP, employing 46% of the working population, but most significantly, employing 80% of the rural working population, which we are more concerned with here. Under the framework of the Agriculture and Natural Resource Policy, the crucial roles that the non-government organizations, NGOs such as ActionAid, Njawara Agricultural Training Center, play in supporting government's agenda to ensure food and nutrition security, as well as building resilience to climate change over the years in the Gambia, is immensely recognized and appreciated. I must emphasize that this has been accomplished through funding from European Union, who have been one of the government's main strategic partners in all sectors, but especially agriculture. ActionAid, as alluded to by the Executive Director, has been and will continue to remain our critical and strategic agricultural sector partner, because we share the same aims and objectives, working together towards empowering smallholder farmers to attain food security and building resilience to the highly challenging climate change phenomenon. Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, agriculture sector is one of the main economic activities that contributes to the growth of our GDP and food security. So therefore, reviving the agricultural sector will help diversify the economy, reduce poverty, eradicate hunger, create employment for women and youth, reduce illegal migration through projects like this, and spur development across all other related sectors, directly or indirectly. Now, climate change is one of the factors responsible for food insecurity, as we all know, and rising unemployment in the Gambia, which has resulted in the migration of youths in search of greener pastures elsewhere through illegal means. We are confident that implementation of projects such as this one will lead to creation of job opportunities through agricultural related activities. We are optimistic that the project will enhance women and youth engagement to help in ensuring food and nutritional security and thereby reduce the rate of youth migration. We have seen that the European Union, with their support to NGOs, we have seen what the European Union is doing with their support to NGOs and what is contributing towards that direction, which the government and its partners are aware of. We are very appreciative of their immense support, both financially and technically. This project, I must add, is developed to complement government's efforts in reviving our famous mixed farming centers, which this particular area, Nyamina, is fortunate to have two, namely Mahmoud Fana and Dankunku. Mahmoud Fana has already been rehabilitated and is up and running, and right now government is investing nothing less than $10 million into rehabilitating the Dankunku Mixed Farming Center. And it might interest you to know that we also have two very important projects that are active in this area, as well as the North Bank, which is the NEMA project, which has sponsored vegetable gardens, as well as access roads, and the FASDA project, which has actually funded the Choya to Dankunku, through Dankunku to Jisadi and Jakoto, along with Nema Road, which is 21 kilometers long. And this will enable access of farmers to both banks of the river. Because when you cross from Jakoto to the Kaur end, again, FASDEP has constructed the road, is constructing the road from Kaur Wharf Town all the way to the North Bank Highway. So in essence, government is complementing what NGOs are doing in terms of revitalizing agriculture in this area. And this year's unusual erratic rainfall pattern, which previous speakers have alluded to, both in terms of spatially and temporally, government collaborated with ActionAid to do what we call a mid-season assessment. And the essence of this mid-season assessment is to assist us in developing evidence-based responses, which is well appreciated and demonstrative of the care and concern that ActionAid has for Gambian farmers' lives and livelihoods. Ladies and gentlemen, in terms of projects that are in the pipeline, and in terms of with respect to collaboration with what ActionAid is doing with EU, we have the successor to the NEMA project coming, which is Roots project, which is going to complement whatever efforts is being done here, as well as Jawara and Sarebiram in Nyomi. And also, we have the rice value chain transformation projects that are coming to be inaugurated. One of them will be inaugurated in November, and the other one hopefully will be inaugurated in December. And we have already inaugurated the small ruminant development project this month, and hopefully these projects will work very closely, like I alluded to, with this EU-funded ActionAid-led project to make sure we complement, synergize, and partner in moving the agricultural agenda forward. Allow me to register my profound gratitude to the communities that are working with EU, ActionAid, and Jawara Agricultural Training Center, namely Dalaba, Sarebiram, and Jawara, for their willingness and active participation and immense contribution towards the success of this project. We remain very much appreciative to the European Union through Ambassador Attila Lagos and ably represented here by Mr. Darrell Sexton. We remain appreciative, like I said, for both the financial and technical support rendered to the government of the Gambia and ActionAid. In the same vein, I wish to thank everyone and pray for successful implementation of our remaining project activities. I wish to encourage all the implementing partners to continue working together as a team. We are all serving the same people and should not be seen as competitors, but as partners in development. We should be learning and sharing from each other and mutually reinforcing each other's efforts for the achievement of the goals and objectives of the global sustainable development goals.
kontaan naa trop kontaan nañ ñun jigéen ñi ñun góor yëpp kontaan nañ trop ndax gis nañ waa ActionAid lañ liggéey biir Gambia bari na lool di leen thanks ñoom ñëpp kontaan nañ trop ndax te njëriñ luy ñëw si ñun gis nañ ko ndax léegi ActionAid moom ñu ngi leen di jërëjëfal daal ndax njëriñ li bari na te wàllu mbayteef bi dem nañ ba Njawara training dem nañ foofu training te lu ñu jàngal jëlee nañ si njëriñ lu bari ndaxte suuf su dee si engrais baax na si suuf de waaye ñaan nañ leen ngeen wàññi engrais bi te di jël nafa yi moo gën a baax si suuf si ndax waroon nañu ne jàngal nañu tamit naka la ñoo defee nafa yi jàngal nañu suuf su dee si garab yu ngeen di daane ngeen bàyyi ko te garab bi ngeen daane ngeen ñaan nañ leen ngeen jël beneen garab wutal ko fa di leen jërëjëfal yëpp yéen waa ActionAid.
Climate change and how to adapt to climate change. Thank you, Rafi, once again. Finally, we would want to invite the representative of the governor, Mr. B.I., to deliver the closing remarks. But I want to say immediately after the remarks, or as the representative of the governor, his closing remarks, we would just enjoy on you to sit down and we allow the dignitaries to take a short tour of the premises and then allow them probably to leave. But we indulge everybody to sit and wait for lunch. Honorable Governor, you are most welcome.
You know, this project is laudable. The objective of the project is to contribute to the creation of jobs and also it will help us to alleviate reduction in migrations in the Europeans, as alluded by other speakers before me. We should extend our sincere appreciations to the donors, the European Union, in partnership with ActionAid, for funding such a magnificent projects in the countries being done in Yamina and Nyomi and Njawara. It is a request. It is funded by the European Union and is being done in these places. It involves activities directly in support of about 1,860 women and youth couples. Indirectly, it can be obtained up to 32,000 plus who will be benefiting from such a support, and it will be given to the core target groups. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity also to thank, to give a piece of advice to the beneficiaries. The stakeholders, women, youth groups, the CSOs, CDSOs, APEX and ECOSONs, local government authorities, to take particular great care of this project and own it and then keep it sustained. Other speakers lamented many important things here, including the chief of Nyamina West, Guy Dampa, talk more on the importance of this project in their communities. He seeks the advice of all the people present here. We are selected to come and attend this launching, and then to listen and convey the messages to the beneficiaries. And also Mr. Jata, Panta Jata, so who was the program manager, give a good remark of this, and then I think those advices will be alluded to. Mr. Mama Jab Mane also talk about climate change and its advice and its adverse effects in our communities. Umar Baji gave a lengthy speech on the climate change realities, how it affects our lives. Climate change is a reality. Poor and unreliable rainfall causes much of the migrations in our rural areas, and can be said, he said about 300,000 are migrated from Uganda, gone to other countries due to the reasons of lack of employment and other activities. It's because of this that such a project, they can manage and then stop the migrations of our youth in the communities. It is designed to come up and to tackle the menace. This is why this demonstration farm is a site for capacity building. It makes the farmers to develop and have relationship with the agricultural people. Here can be a center that is open for all. It can be open to all. If anybody wants to have the benefit of this, you can come here anytime you will have the opportunity to have access to it. It can also create job opportunities and improve our income. Knowledge and trust is also big in agriculture, as alluded by Omar Baji.
No, actually, I don't have to.
That's not a very big photograph.
Yeah. It's not for them, definitely not too much. Here we intend this side, we have a nursery that is under preparation. We have those seedlings, and then we want to make sure that we use this part of the land as a woodlot. because you realize that the eco-restoration that we talked about, most of the wild trees that we used to have in our environment has been cut down as a result of economic activity for the benefit of few people. And the farmers who are suffering the impact of this climate change are not the farmers who have the audacity to give a license for people to go and cut these forests. And they have a very little share from the outcome of these trees that have been followed across the country.